Hi all. In this session, we are going to discuss about data types. What are the data types and what is the purpose of data type and how many data types are available in Java? All points we are going to cover. So let's try to understand what is a data type first. What is a data type? Let's try to understand first. Okay. Suppose I have a one program. Okay. Program name is student. I want to store the student details. Okay, so I want to store student number. Let's consider student number is 1 and student name I want to store. So this is yeah student name. So I want to store the student height. Let's consider 5.5 is height. So what is this the things? Student number is nothing but a one integer data type, right? Name is nothing but a string data type. Height is nothing but a one floating character data types, right? Okay, so based on your data type, you want to choose data type, right? Suppose if you want to write a program, if you want to store these values, how you can write the program? In order to store the student number, I will take one integer data type. Suppose let's take integer 1. So I want to store name, I will take one string data type, right? String Ravi, right? So that string, it will go and save it here. Like this, I can choose the data type based on your program need, right? What is this data type then? The type of data which you want to store, the relevant data type, I have to choose it. What is this A? A is a variable. We'll discuss about A in the next session. We'll try to understand what is a data type first. Data type is nothing but a type of data which you need to store, right? So this we understand. But what is the purpose of data type? If I initialize or if I create like initialize a data type, what will happen behind? So that we'll try to understand first. What is data type means? When you create a data type or initialize a data type, what will happen is it will allocate some sufficient amount of memory space. So what I mean to say is that let's take one example. Suppose I am taking one integer variable. Okay, integer a equal to 10. So integer b equal to 20. So you have created one variable, right? Type of integer. Integer type you have created and one more variable type of integer. So internally it should allocate some memory, right? To hold these values, right? Suppose a 20, 10 b equal to 20. So when you create data type, what will happen is it will allocate some sufficient amount of memory space for your input of the program, where it will create this memory in the main memory of the computer. In the main memory of the computer. We'll see what about the main memory of computer. Okay. So try to understand what is the purpose of data type. It will allocate sufficient amount of memory space for the input of your program in the main memory of the computer, either by static memory allocation or dynamic memory allocation. We know that static memory allocation is nothing but when you compile your program, when it memory allocates, that allocation is called as a static memory allocation. When you run the program during the runtime of your program, when a memory allocation happen, then that program language is a dynamic memory allocation, right? So Java always supports dynamic memory allocation, not the static memory allocation. So the conclusion is data type, the purpose of data type is it will allocate sufficient amount of memory space for your input of the program in the main memory of the computer by following the dynamic memory allocation. So this is a purpose of data type. Now try to understand what is the main memory of the computer, where it will create this memory, we'll try to understand. So let's me go to one sheet here. Yeah, now we'll try to understand what is the computer main memory and what are the different memories available in the computer. Okay, I'm just saying computer memory, right? We'll try to understand. Okay, what is a memory first? What is a memory? Memory is nothing but a place where the data is stored, right? How to measure this memory? In terms of bits or bytes. What is a bits or bytes? We know that computer can understand only a binary language, right? Either 0 or 1. So either 0 or 1, right? So 0 or 1. We call it as 1 byte or 1 bit. Okay, this is a 1 bit, right? So 8 bits equal to 1 byte. Similarly, 1024 bytes equal to how much is 1024 bytes? 1 kilobyte. So 1024 kilobytes equals to 1 megabyte. 1024 megabytes equal to 1 gigabyte. 1 giga 1024 gigabyte equal to 1 terabyte. 1024 terabytes equals to 1 petabyte, right? So what is this measurement? How we can measure this memory based on the this one, right? Based on these values. Suppose if I have 1024, that means 1024 into 8 bits. This is a memory, right? Based on this, we can measure the memory, computer memory, correct? So this is about the computer memory. Now try to understand how many types of memory is available. So in the computer, how many types are available? We'll try to understand. So basically we have three types of memories available in the computer. In the main memory and secondary memory and cache. So in the main memory again, we have two types, two categories, random access memory and read-only memory. And secondary memory, we have floppies. Olden days, we used to have floppies and CD, DVDs, and we have hard disk. Again, hard disk, we have considered two categories, HDD, SSDs. I'm not going in detail what it is and what is the purpose. Just try to understand about the main memory. Cache also, again, we have L1, L2, L3 caches. So we'll try to understand here. So main memory, we have two types, right? We categories, RAM and ROM, random access memory and read-only memory. This is a RAM is a volatile. Volatile is nothing but when you switch off your computer, that data, right? That data automatically will be erased. This is a non-volatile. So when you switch off your computer, the data won't be erased. It still be there in that memory. So try to understand what I have said is what is the data type? Data type purpose is to allocate sufficient amount of the memory for your input of the programs in the main memory of the computer, where it will create data type memory here. The RAM. The RAM, it will create memory for your input of the program. Okay, this is a data type purpose. So coming to data types, how many data types? Now we understand what is a data type and purpose of data type. And next, how many data types available? Let's try to understand here. Every programming language, not only Java, every programming language, there are three types of data types we can consider. Suppose, let me take, we can say fundamental, or we can say predefined, and we can say primary. These all are synonyms. Any name they can call it as primitive, and we have scalar, and also we can call as a core data types, and also we have called as built-in data types, and all these are the synonyms. We can say Fundamental data type, predefined data type, primary, primitive, scalar data type, core data type, built-in data types. And second category is derived data type. And third one is user-defined data type. Or we can call it as a secondary data types also. And we can say custom also. And sometimes programmers define data types, and also referential data types. We can call it with any of these names. So any programming language data types are classified into these three types. Okay. We can call with any name. All these considered as only one only, just synonyms of this one. So now try to understand what is this fundamental data types. Okay. These are developed by language developers. When you create a language, programming language, those programming language developers can create these data types, and they provide as part of software, like they provide uh, built in, like they will provide along with the software so that we can use this data type. Okay, how, I mean, why are we using this data type? We'll see in the future. So this we can consider these are the built-in data types. That means along with the software, these things will come. So simply, if I say, suppose I want to store one value. Suppose let's take int a equal to 10. What is this data type? This is a built-in data type. So built-in data type, what it will do is, if I were all the built-in data types, right? So we'll see in the Java detail how many built-in data types, all the things. Just for example, if I consider this is a one built-in data type, integer a equal to 10, what happens here? So it will create one a variable, and it will store this value, integer type of data, right? This is a 10, it will store. Now it's okay. But this is a built-in data type we call it as. But why are we going to derive data type? So already built-in data type is there, right? Why are we going to derive data type? Let's try to understand. Suppose I can hold the value, or I can initialize the value, okay, with the one value only, right? Suppose int a equal to 10. I need to store multiple values in the same data type. Suppose int, so let me take int b. I want to store the multiple values in the same data type. Is it possible? No, it is not possible, because it can contains only one variable. I can't hold the multiple values. Okay. So if I want to store the multiple values, then we can you go for the derived data type. So derived data type is nothing but a arrays are the derived data type. So what it will do, arrays, if we create any array, how to create the arrays, we'll see in the further. So just let me take one variable here. So 1, 2, 3. See what happened, just I have created one array. What array contains is, array is a one collective name. Okay, this is a variable, just array. It will give you consecutive memory location. Suppose indexes 0, 1, 2. So the value of 0 index is 1. It will store like this. So I'm able to hold the multiple values. But in the derived data type, I mean like a fundamental data type, I can't hold it, right? So that is the reason by using derived data type arrays, I can store the multiple values of same type. So all these are the homogeneous types. That means, let me write homogeneous type. Homogeneous means same type of values. Okay, these are the memory consecutive locations. So what is an array? Array is nothing but it's a collective name. It's a collective name to given the consecutive memory locations which are referred in the homogeneous elements. What is homogeneous elements? Homogeneous elements, same type of data. This is an integer data type, right? Suppose I want to store like float data type. I want to hold string data type. It won't allow. I can't hold the multiple type of values. Suppose it will see here one is an integer, right? This is a float, this is a string. I can't hold like this. Array can hold only homogeneous elements, same type of data. If I want to create float, I have to create one float array and I have to store the values float only, like this. If I want to store the string values, string array, I have to take only string values can store it. So this is about the array. If I want to store like this with the multiple type of data, then we can go for create your data type, referential data type, or user defined data type, we can say. So I hope you understand why are we going to user defined data type or secondary data type. So why we need, if we want to store multiple values with the different types. Suppose this is an integer, this is a float, this is a string. So multiple values, then we can go for the, you can create your user defined data type. So in the C programming language, by using C, I mean the C programming language, struct we have structures and union we have with and also enum, enumerations enum. With these are the considered as user defined types. If you create these structs, union, enums are nothing but you can create a user defined data type. So this is about the in general, I mean, in any of the programming language, these are the three types of data types. Let's consider Java data types. Okay. Now, let's try to understand how, I mean, in Java data types are available, and let's try to understand. So, Java data types, basically, we, as discussed earlier. So, this primitive or any name we can call, as I said earlier, primitive data types and reference data types. All remaining to consider, it is a reference data type. So what is a primitive data types? It has, they have segregated into four categories. One is integer category data type. And another one is float category data type. And character category data type. And Boolean category data type. Okay, and here in the reference data type, we can say arrays also, like arrays, we can say arrays and class and interface. By using this, we can create our reference data types. And here, integer category data types, right? Again, it will segregated as four types: byte, short, int, long. And float category data types, we can segregate as a float and double. And character is a char data type we have, and boolean is a boolean data type we have. And however, string is a class in array, I mean in Java. We can deal separately in the string kind of data type later. So now try to understand all the primitive data types in this class. Okay, primitive data types, right? Now, what is a integer category data type? We can see integer category data types. As I said, it considered four categories, four types: byte, short, int, long. So, okay, if I want to store integer, what is an integer first of all? We know that. Okay, let me take here. Okay, here only I'll just try to explain. So let suppose integer category data type I'm saying, right? Integer category data type means byte already we have. Suppose byte A equal to 10, let us assume. Then byte is a integer category data type. Then why again short they have introduced, int they have introduced, long when I can use this byte, when I can use for short, when I can go for long. So let's try to understand here why we have four category data types, I mean integer category data types. So based on the range, we can use this data type. How to set the range, that we have to see now. check the range of these data types. So quickly, I'll go to, okay, I'm just trying to explain you here. So let's first we'll try to understand integer category data types, right? First, I'm saying byte. Byte equals to, let's say 10. See, just now I explained you byte, right? So byte, I'm just taking one data type, byte a equal to 10. If I print a, what it will print? See, 10 value it is printing. That means that integer data type it contains and it will hold this value, right? Now, when I can use the short, short also 10, 10 it can hold, right? Then what is the point of short? See, short also hold the 10 value. Then when I can go for int, int c equals to some 20. See, int also it is taking the value, right? Long. See, then we'll try to understand when I can use the byte, short, int, long. So if you want to understand this concept, you have to understand the range of these data types. First, let's try to understand the ranges. Okay, range of this data type. Between which range I can use the value for this. Suppose first we have to understand what are the bytes available. If you create byte data type, by default, it will, how much memory it will allocate? It will allocate memory 1. Okay. If you create short, how much memory it will allocate? 2. You create int, it is a 4 bytes of memory it occupies in the memory. Let me write it here, bytes. Okay, long, it is 8. Float, it is 4. Double, it is 8. Character, it is 2. Boolean, boolean is 0. Okay, how y is 0, I will explain this topic. So now range will try to calculate the range. So range, byte, if I use byte here, how many bits it will allocate? How many bytes? 1 byte, right? So let's try to calculate the range. First, let me try to calculate the range for byte. What's a byte range? 2 to the power of 18. That means, what is a 2 to the power of 18? Computer can understand 0 and 1, right? That means 2 bits it can understand. So this is a constant. 2 to the power of 8. 8 means 1 byte equals to 8 bits, right? So 2 to the power of 8. 2 to the power of 8. How much is the 2 to the power of 8? 256. 256. The computer memory starts from 0. So 0 to 255. This is a range of this one, right? Now, again, this is a 255. Yes, correct. Now, here two things available. One is signed. Try to understand signed and unsigned. Two concepts here. Signed means it can accept positive and negative. Positive and negative values also. Unsigned means it can accept only positive values. Okay. Now, this is a byte is a signed. Signed. That is the reason it can hold the positive and negative numbers. So that is the reason I'm just dividing by this 2. 255 by 2. So 255 by 2, almost it is like 127.5. 127.5. So if I consider 0.5 minus here 127, I'll add that 0.5 here, 120 minus 128. Yeah, the range between right, for byte is 127 to 128. Let's try to check this. So it can hold up to 127, right? Just try to open our program. So byte 128. See, it's not taking 128 because we know that it can accept only till 127. Let's try to give 127. See, it is accepting. So similarly, negative side also, minus 128, it is accepting, right? Minus 129, try to give, it is not accepting. Give 128, it is accepting. So between these values only, it can accept. Between these values only, you can give for the byte. Similarly, short also. So same calculation you can do for short also. 2 to the power of 2, right? 2 into 8, 16. 2 into the power of 2 to the power of 16 equal to 65536. And the range computer starts from 0, right? 065535 by this is also signed, and by 2 if you do that, prox 32767.5 it will come. 32767.5. So here you can do minus 32.767, 32.768. So this is a range. So you can hold up between these values only. Let's try this. This is for byte short, right? Okay, 32.768. Go and check that 32.768. So see, it is not taking 32.767, it's accepting. So this is a range. If you beyond this range, it won't accept. Okay, if you want to hold that value, go to another int and long like that. Based on that range, we can go and use that. Okay, this is about the range of calculation for data types. This is about the fundamental data type. So how many we have completed? Integer category data type we have covered, right? Byte, short, int, long. Now coming to the float category data type. What is a float category data type? Float category data type is nothing but if you want to store the uh, like constant values, or we can say real constant values. Real constant values are nothing but what? Real constant values. So real constant values contains decimal points, right? Suppose sequence of numbers with decimal points. Let us example 2.3 or 332.6. So this contains decimal point, right? So this kind of data by using float, we can store that. So let me go to try to save this data. So now we'll try to store this. Suppose float. Float, how much you can give, like 30.2 F. See, this is a float data. So if you want to save the float, I mean store as a float, you have to mention as F. If you don't mention F, it won't take it. By default, it is considering as a double. That we'll see later. But if you want to mention as a float, you have to mention as ending with F. Then only it will accept and it will store that value. And similarly, we have double, right? See 32.2 day value it can save. And similarly, you can go with double. Double D is a variable. And suppose let me take some value here. D already mentioned. So let me take another variable, unique variable, it should be there. So now see double equal to 78.9. So for double, you no need to give D. Even if you take it also, right. Suppose let me take same another example. This is also correct. And also capital D also it accepts. J. So either this one is of also fine, this is also fine, this is also fine. So all these are the acceptable ones. So what is the difference between float and double? So already float is there. Why are we go for double? That let's try to understand. So float, suppose if I store float f1 equal to 3.4f. How this will store into memory is actually we have after decimal point, it will contain seven sequence decimal points actually. While storing this data into the memory, it will store seven decimal points. Let us assume 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So after this decimal point, seven digits, it will save this one into the memory. That some calculation is there. Due to the time constraints, I'm not explaining that formula. But ideally, if you give a float, it will store this data after decimal point 7. The same data, if you store it into double, suppose I'll take double t equal to 3.4f. So it will save into the after decimal 15 digits. 0, 0, 1 if after decimal point 0, 0, 0. So after decimal points, it's a 15 digits. It's a 7 digits. So if you have memory constraints, we can go for this. If you don't have any memory constraints, you can go for this. So, if you want to store the more values like accessible device, it is good. We can use for double. If you want, if you don't have any, like it again, it depends on completely based on your project requirement. Okay. Based on your need, you can use either this one or this one. So this is about a float data type. So now we have covered integer float, right? What is a character data type? What is a character data type? Character data type is nothing but we can store the any of the character, right? So let us assume this is a one character, not only numeric or digit or some special character. All these are the character data types. Okay, now try to create one character data type. How to create character data type? Char just take one variable and save this. Yes. Now run this. Yes. I'm just printing that. Yes. Sorry. P is a variable name. Right. Now print it. Oh, what value should come? Whatever it stores. Yes value we have saved, right? Like this. Or else you can store any 9. So it should print that. See 9 value it printed. So if you want to store any character data, you can go to use this character data type. Here one disadvantage is there. If I go to here, as I said, character, how much data, how much bytes it is taking? Memory, 2 bytes, right? To store that character, only one memory, 1 byte is enough, right? But here in the Java, 2 bytes it is occupying. This is a disadvantages of disadvantage. One of the disadvantages in Java you can consider. Why? Because in C, C++, character data type, character data type specify means it holds only 1 byte, but here 2 bytes it is occupying. So this is a disadvantage. But why this one they have introduced is actually here in the Java, this is a Unicode character set it follows. What is Unicode and what is ASCII? ASCII, C, C++, COBOL, all the things, they have follow character set of ASCII. But Java is following Unicode. So what is a ASCII? ASCII is a character set followed by the programming languages which are available one international language called English. That means C, C++ is right. It is available in only one international language called in English. But Java programming language is available in 18 international languages like English, Spanish, or and different so different types of languages. It is Latin available. Okay, but however Based on this, it is occupying 2 bytes, but we can consider this is a one limitation in Java. So this is about the character data type set. What about the Boolean? Last one we have Boolean, right? Boolean character data type, category data type. What is a Boolean category data type? If you want to store either true or false values, that means logical values. Lo Logical values means true or false. If you want to store either true or false, we can use the Boolean and we can store it. How to store it? Quickly we'll check this also. Boolean. Suppose I'm just taking can say true. See true, or you can say false like this. If you give other than this, it will throw error. Okay, it will hold either true or false. But I'm saying that we don't have any nothing, right? Like memory space. 0 bytes it is taking. Then where it is storing the data? If it is 0 bytes, where how to store this? Boolean data type of Java implemented by using a general purpose registry called we have flip flop. This is one concept. Okay, in the registry it will save. It will store only 1 bit of memory space. So that is the reason it is not taking any bytes. Okay, in the registry, one means true and zero means false. So that is the reason in the main memory it is not occupying any memory here. So and also we'll consider default values. What is the default values? If you create suppose int a, what is the default value of integer? If you create one float, what is the default value? Default value is nothing but A is creating a memory, right? What is the default value of this? I'm not initializing any value. So in that case, I'm not assigning any value, right? In this case, default value should replace here. What's the character category? Okay, we have, let me consider this here, where, yeah, here. So what is the integer category data type? Default value is, it's a 0. And float category data type default value is 0.0. And character, nothing it will, I think should be there. In Boolean, we have false. That means if you create any integer data type by suppose, let me take int a memory will be created. What is the default value of integer data type? 0 is 0. When I assign some value, then this value should replace with the default value. However, this will see in the further sessions. So this is about the default values. Category data type 0, 0.0 is a float, and character is nothing, and Boolean is false by default. These are about the fundamental data types. We'll see about the next data types. Let's try to understand quickly, recap whatever we have discussed. What's the data type? We have observed, and purpose of data type we have observed, and how many data types we have available in general, and what is the Java data types, and what are the categories, and why we need to go for reference data type we have observed in this session. Remaining reference data types, arrays, classes, interfaces, we'll see in the further sessions. Thank you all.